Welcome to a Be Chic tutorial on ditching the vision board using Trello for 2021 goal setting. This topic originally appeared on my podcast, Be Chic University, on the corresponding episode about goal setting for 2021 using Trello. Check out that episode for more details on setting goals and why it's important to have a plan and not just a vision board. In this video, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of what your Trello board may look like and how to really make the features work for you. Don't forget to listen to the podcast episode to make it make sense for your New Year's success. So you'll see here that we already have a Trello board open, and the board is titled 2021 Goals for me. And I also have 3 lists, but as you can see, you can add additional lists. The lists are essentially categories that I've created that easily categorize different goals that I do have. So the examples I have here are get your mind right. And this is a combination of mental and emotional health goals that I have for myself. Move It Girl are obviously physical health goals I have for myself. And in my bag are the financial goals I have for myself. So Trello is free, but there is a premium option. So I'll go over the free features that I currently use to not only list out my goals, but to manage them throughout the year. Like I said, we'll go into more details of strategy in the podcast episode, so be sure to listen to that. Not only do we have lists, but within each list there are cards. So you'll see all of these listed within the goals. I love that you can attach photos and make them your cover picture because it still gives that element of the vision board, as well as the background image that we can change within the menu. Change background. That helps you create an aesthetic that is reflective of your theme or whatever you are, feeling at that time for your board. So we'll go into the cards and look at some of the features. As I open this, you'll see the name of the card, which is my goal, and the list that it's on. Labels are colored blocks that allow you to further organize your cards. So let's say there's another level of categorization that you want to do across lists. You can have blue cards on multiple lists, whereas the lists are a different category that you track a different way. You can name these as well. So I can make anything blue mental, save, and then it now has a name associated with the color. I'll pop back out to the board just to show that you can show the names of the labels on your main board, or you can hide the names. Next within the card are the due dates. You can add a due date. You can also remove a due date before or after completing it. I like using the due dates as reminders, and we'll go into more about that later on. There's also a description section. I highly recommend explaining what your goal is within the description section, and then including any resources that are links. You'll see when you open the edit box for the description, the formatting changes a bit. And that's because there are formatting rules you have to follow within Trello in order for your cards to look a certain way. So you'll see here around the text I have brackets, and then around the link I have parentheses. You do not have to memorize these shortcuts because the formatting help is always there for any card when you're editing it. So if I scroll down the formatting help, I'll see for links, this is how I should format it. And so that's what I've done here. When my card is not in the edit screen, I can click that link and it'll take me to the page where I have the scripture plans I grab for my daily devotion. The next section are the attachments. This card only has one attachment, which is the image that is currently my cover like I said, emulating a vision board. And the checklist is probably my favorite aspect of each card because I can track throughout the year my progress, and it'll actually show progress in the bar here. This bar is also reflective on the main list, so I can see that I've completed 3 out of 12 of my items on my checklist. It also gives me a quick view, as you can see, the due date upcoming, letting me know that there's text in the description, how many attachments there are, and my items on the checklist. At the bottom here, the activity or the notes section that I love to use to track my progress. Not only can you see what I've done in the past within the board, or the card I should say, but I can also write notes. So here I can say created card. And I now have it in my notes that I've created this card for this goal. You'll also notice here that the icon for the comment has been added to let you know that I've added one comment or one progress update for that goal. The next goal uses these features a bit different. This goal is to read 20 personal development books, and then I give a bit of a longer description here about that goal. My checklist here actually has a different name. You can customize the name, and I have some options of books that I want to read. You can add a checklist by going to the checklist tab here. I also added the card previously, the label previously with the labels tab here. And if you were sharing your board with someone else, you can add members. This is also where you add the due date and the attachments. I mostly use these options. There are some options down here, but we won't get into that today. Next, with the physical health goals, I'll go over a few different features that I'm using. On my develop a consistent exercise routine, I have a different colored label, which I could rename if I wanted to. In my description, I actually have some bold text here, which is identified by the asterisk on the outside of the text. And in my attachments, I've linked Google Drive documents. I love using Trello to access Google Drive documents because I don't have to navigate through the multiple folders in my Google Drive to get to what I want. If I'm already in Trello and I know what topic I'm looking for, I can get to the document I want to reference as long as I've already linked it here. And you'll see that it's loading the exact document that I want in Google Drive and not just popping me over to a folder. Here I don't have a checklist, but I do like that I am able to still log my activity. So with my goal being develop a consistent exercise routine, I can say for January, I've decided on using, if I can spell, the Fit Girls journal. And that's a progress update. You'll also see that I can add an attachment within my notes. I can mention another member if there's multiple people on my Trello board, add emojis, and create a card from a comment. This is a great tool to use when giving updates, because now that I have an update for January that I've created a Fit Girls, or that I'll be using the Fit Girls journal, I can create a card with another comment. So let's say I'm giving a progress update and I decide that I need to print off the journal. I can switch that to a card and add it to the list on my board. So that's really cool. The next one, I want to talk about the due date, because I've already added a due date for January 1st, which is used as a reminder with my particular template. January 1st will be my reminder to weigh in for January so that I can log my weight and my body fat percentage as I am going towards this goal. So I'll add within the comments what my starting body fat percentages, and then mark off January, and then mark off that due date as completed. That will update in my comments, as you'll see here. Mark the due date complete. But I can go back, remove that due date, and add a new one for April. And that way I'll have a reminder for my next check-in or my next milestone. And that's still within the same card and within the free options of Trello. Now, if I wanted, I could go in and add a due date within the checklist here, but that's only with the free, or I'm sorry, not the free, the paid version. So I like to just reset my due dates as reminders for my cards. So we'll just go ahead and remove that for now and uncheck January. Now going into the next list, I love using this as my cover image, not because it is inspiration like the other images might be, but because it is a great reference for my emergency fund savings plan. I can reference this image without having to open the card because it's a nice size and it's at the top of my list. But something else to note is that in addition to my Google Drive file, my image attachment, I also have an Excel spreadsheet attachment. And this is my budgeting workbook, which is also located on my website if you are looking for a budgeting workbook to keep yourself organized with your finances in the upcoming year. This is great to have the actual documents embedded within the Trello cards because you can access them without having to log into your email, without having to be on your personal computer. You just have to log into Trello. And so here you'll see a preview of the document. But once I open it up into a new tab, I can download the document and use it in the original file format, which is really cool. I'm not sure if there is a file limit for attachments, but I haven't hit that limit yet. So I think it's pretty big. And then here I just have my savings plan in a checklist format. So as I save throughout the year, I can mark off each benchmark. And again, those will appear in the notes down below. Next, I have refinanced my car loan as a goal. I do not have an image here, but that's totally fine. It still works very well for me. I have my label, my first check-in or due date. I do not have a description, but maybe that's something I'll add in the future. I have a credit workbook that I want to review. And then my checklist of items. So here is already in action one of my goals. I've already obtained my credit score, so I marked that as complete. I'm now at 20% complete with this goal, but also I wanted to add some notes. So I added in my notes that I obtained my credit score and it's saved to Google Drive. And I'm going to research some goal credit scores in order to lower my interest rate. So I now know where I stand in the progression towards this goal. And all of that is in one easy place on my Trello board. So at this point, I might go ahead and mark that due date as complete, but I'll leave it like this for now. And then looking at our last card, I really love this picture. You need 3 hobbies: one to keep you creative, one to keep you in shape, and one to make you money. And that's what I strive to do with this goal, is make that money. This one is just another cool way to show how you can list out a checklist to keep you on track. And that's my sample goal Trello board. I hope this has helped you understand a little bit more from the podcast. And if you have not watched that podcast, please, or I'm sorry, not watch, but if you have not listened to that podcast, please do so. And I just hope that this tutorial helps motivate you to create not only your vision for 2021, but an action plan for your success. Now, before you leave, do not forget to subscribe to my channel so that you get updates for the podcast here as well. but also upcoming tutorials on all things millennial with money, career moves, productivity hacks, and managing a side hustle. Also, don't forget that you can visit my podcast on my website, bchicu.org/podcast. You can catch all the episodes here, past show notes, and then also blog topics on everything that I mentioned earlier and more here on the blog bchicu.org. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next Be Chic tutorial.